Hey everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to Cinefessions, where we talk all things media. And today I have a stack of 9 items to share with you guys. I have 2 piles of the buy 2 get 1 free on Blu-rays from Disc Replay. I have a VHS tape from my local flea market. I have an eBay find, and then just another random DVD thrown in here. So we're gonna run from Blu-ray all the way to VHS, except I think we'll do it in that opposite order. So let's not waste any more time at all. Let's dive right into another physical media haul. So I'll get started with the lone VHS tape in this pile today. So I was able to find Communion on VHS from my local flea market. And as you can see right in the front there, I haven't taken the price tag off. This was $5, which I think is a pretty good deal for what this is. I don't think it's significantly more expensive or anything online, but not bad for a really cool sci-fi movie. At least that's what I hear. Oh, I just noticed there was a number on the side. I was thinking, oh, this is a spine number, but I think that's just like the release number. Anyway, I got distracted. I've heard that this movie is a really good alien invasion, or alien abduction film, rather. And I know you can get this on Blu-ray. I've had it in my eBay cart for a while, but it's kind of pricey, so I thought this would be a cool way just to watch it. Obviously, it's not going to be as good a quality, but it should be fun and very fitting for its era. So looking forward to checking this one out. So the first one today, and the only VHS tape in this pile, is Communion. Next up, we'll move over to the DVDs, and this first one here I actually picked up off of eBay because I needed it for my Ghost Hunters collection. This is Ghost Hunters Season 4 Part 2. So they released these back in the day, and so this was at the time where a lot of TV series were coming out with a Part 1 and a Part 2, even though it's all the same season. I hate that, obviously, but I had to get this one because I do have Part 1, which we have watched through all of the first 3 that I own on DVD. First, Part 1 and Part 2 of Seasons 1 through 3, and then we are almost done with Part 1 of Season 4. We were watching them pretty much every night for a while there, and then we kind of stopped recently, but we will get back to it eventually and finish up Part 1, and then move over to Part 2 of Season 4. We've watched a lot of random seasons of this because it's really difficult to track down the whole series. So the first 4 seasons we're watching on my DVDs of them. We watched, Netflix I think had like 16, 17 if I'm not mistaken, late seasons. Amazon Prime had random seasons in the middle, maybe like 4 or 5, no, like 7 and 8 or something. And so it's just been really difficult. Even YouTube TV had some seasons that we were watching. My daughter got super into Ghost Hunters. Like I said, this was probably about a month ago now. We were just watching a ton of Ghost Hunters, but she's kind of backed off from it a little bit, so we haven't been watching it as much lately, but definitely will get back around to this one. So Ghost Hunters Season 4 Part 2 is in the collection. Actually, I was just thinking about it, and this one I found at Second and Charles for a really good price. Now, this is a movie that my wife always talked about when we first started dating, man, a long time ago now, and I could never find it on DVD. And when I looked it up on eBay, it was kind of pricey, so I was really happy to come across Night of the Twisters on DVD. And this stars Devon Sawa, who was her childhood crush, so she always talks about this one, and I almost grabbed it on VHS at one point because it was so much cheaper, but I didn't end up doing that, and I'm glad I didn't since I now found this on DVD. And it's actually nuts. I found this one, I don't know, maybe a month and a half ago now, and I just haven't shared it until now. But after finding this, I was watching a video from the Horror Punk, and Brian, he ended up finding this exact same release as well not too long ago. So I thought that was just really bizarre. Never seen anyone haul this DVD before, and then I pick it up, and days later, he happens to grab it as well. So I thought that was very serendipitous. I thought that was cool. So I will link Brian's channel down below. If you're not following him for whatever reason, you absolutely should. I love his channel. Very knowledgeable in the world of horror, especially if you like indie horror. The dude just knows it all. So it is awesome. His channel is awesome for that. But yeah, it does a lot of great hauls and reviews. So definitely recommend that. Total tangent here. I found Night of the Twisters, and I cannot wait to revisit this one. If you don't know, basically, this is based on, I think it's based on the true story where multiple twisters hit in the same night, multiple tornadoes hit this small town in the same night. So anyway, we'll move on to the next one. This is Night of the Twisters. Moving over to the Blu-rays, I have 6 in today's pile, and these were all part of the buy 2 get 1 when they were still doing that, but unfortunately they've stopped doing that sale now, and prices just continue to go up and up at that store. I'll tell you a story. I was there earlier today. Now, I did find a Criterion movie for very cheap, which was super shocking because I found an A24 release that literally was the same price at Disc Replay that I could go onto A24's website and buy it right now, brand new. So their prices are all over the place, but they're trending way up, which is super disappointing. I visit Disc Replay significantly less these days than I was even 3 months ago. So it's just disappointing, but it is what it is. I understand they have to, stay in business and they got to do what they got to do. But for someone like, people like us who are looking for good deals, it's just not really the place to go for that anymore. But anyway, let's move on here. This is Dragon Crusaders. And you might be wondering, why would I grab that movie? Well, obviously, it's because this is an Asylum release. Where's the there it is. I was covering it up. It's an Asylum release, so I had to grab this one, and it's brand new, still shrink wrapped, which is awesome. So I always love the pull quote, the fake pull quotes on the back. And in this one it says, an epic action adventure in the tradition of Clash of the Titans and Reign of Fire. So that's exactly what we're getting here. Should be a heck of a lot of fun. Shout out to Kenny at Kenny's Movie Palace. He is my Asylum brethren. He loves them as well. So very happy to have this one. Kenny, if you've seen this, let me know if it's any good down in the comments. But either way, happy to add to the Asylum collection. This is Dragon Crusaders. I remember watching a trailer for this movie. I think it was before it released in theaters, and I thought it just looked hilarious. So I had to check this out. This is Honk for Jesus. So basically, if I remember right, or if I understood the trailer right, I believe that these two individuals are essentially scam artists and they are using religion in order to drive their schemes. So I think it just sounds really interesting, but it's supposed to be a comedy. So I'm intrigued to see it. It looks really funny and it has a great cast with it there. So we'll see how this goes. This is Honk for Jesus. Here's one that's been out for quite a while now that I've wanted to see for the longest time. And man, this thing has a clean slipcover, I'm just noticing. But this is I, Tonya. So this one stars Margot Robbie, and she's playing Tonya Harding, of course. And it's supposed to be just a really good biopic of her life. So heard excellent things about this over the years. If I'm not mistaken, I think I'm just going to shout out a bunch of channels. I think Miranda over at Miranda's Movie Madness, I think she talked about this in the past and was raving about it. So definitely one I need to check out, and happy to own it. And I will link all the channels I talk about down in the description box below, so you can check them out if you haven't for whatever reason. But yeah, this is supposed to be a great one, so I'm really looking forward to checking out I, Tonya. Apparently, I'm in a rambly mood today, but I have to say this because I forgot to mention it. But I don't know if you guys remember, but obviously everybody knows the Tonya Harding scandal and everything that broke. What I remember most about this is how WCW took that exact same idea and used it in a storyline with Hulk Hogan. Like, I don't know why that memory stands out to me so much, but does anybody else remember that? Probably not, because I'm a loser. But anyway, I just thought that I had to bring it up because I thought that was interesting or funny that that's really what Tonya Harding reminds me of, is the Hulk Hogan, rest in peace, the Hulk Hogan WCW like mock of that scandal. But anyway, let's move on here. Next up, we have Ed Wood, starring Johnny Depp. This is one that I've been on the lookout for a very long time. I have heard excellent things about this, and Ed Wood is someone who is pretty well known in the like B movie world, the bad movie world, if you will. And it's a director that I really need to spend more time with. I do have a box set of his that I found at Disc Replay a number of years ago, and so I have a lot of his movies in my collection, but I need to sit down and watch some, and then check out this biopic on his life. But supposed to be a great film. Cannot wait to check out Ed Wood starring Johnny Depp. Here's one that I added to my Blu-rays to find list not that long ago, and I've heard that it was a little difficult to find this Blu-ray, so I was really happy to find this at Disc Replay. But this is Flight Plan with Jodie Foster. Now, this is a movie that, it's not excellent by any stretch, but I think it's a pretty good thriller for what it is. It's a 3.5 out of 5 movie, right? Like, it's a good film. And essentially, she gets on board this plane with her daughter or son, I don't know, her child, and the child suddenly is gone, but then she's getting ghostlighted, or is she, to thinking, ghostlighted? I just said she's being gaslighted to think that her son was never on the plane. Or is she? Is there something mental going on here? Like, what's happening with this film? That's kind of the questions that you ask yourself as you're going through it. And like I said, I think it's a good movie. Nothing spectacular, but you know, for the low price I was able to find it for, definitely one I wanted to have in my collection because it's been a while since I've seen it. So happy to add Flight Plan to the collection. Last but not least, this is one that, like, did I really need to add this to the physical media collection? Probably not. My buddy and I went to go see this in theaters when it released, and it is this, if Flight Plan was a 3.5 out of 5, I mean, this is a great example of like a 3 out of 5. If I'm being generous, maybe more like a 2.5 out of 5, but this is imaginary. And this is a movie that I really wanted to be better than it was, but I don't think it's bad by any stretch. And rather than going out and I had the Steelbook, I think looked really cool. And so I was very tempted to grab that at multiple points, but I decided not to get it. And I was able to find this one for like $5. So this was the way to add this one to the collection. Cause it's not great, but it's one that I could definitely see myself revisiting, you know, years down the road and maybe appreciating a little bit more on repeat viewing. But yeah, it's a decent but not great film. Like I said, maybe a 2.5 out of 5, mediocre, or maybe just above average with that 3 out of 5. But still, if you like this type of movie, basically, our main character has an imaginary friend who, from when she was a kid, who may or may not be back to wreak havoc on her adult life, is essentially what we're dealing with here. So let me know if you guys like this one, maybe a little bit more than I did down in the comments. But either way, I'm glad to own it, and I'll definitely check it out again at some point in the future. So last but not least today is imaginary. All right, so hopefully you guys are still here and made it through all of my rambling in this video, but I appreciate you being here, and let me know down in the comments below, what from this pile have you already seen and what do you recommend? Is there anything I talked about in here that you think is much better or much worse than I mentioned? I'd love to hear any and all of your thoughts down in the comments below, and let me know if you have any local disc replays, or they're called disc traders in other states. If you have any ones near you, have their prices skyrocketed as well? I would love to hear kind of what's going on in your local market. But that is going to do it for today, guys. Thank you again so much for making it all the way to the end here. That support really means a lot to me. And before I let you all go, I'll just encourage you all to consume some media today. Thanks again for watching, and I will catch you all next time.